Hello guys, today we'll be going over Encore, and before we learn where Jesus is now, we will be going over where he was back then in his time. So after Jesus died and resurrected, he went to visit his disciple, and in the book of Matthew chapter 28, it goes over his resurrection story, like what Jesus did after he came back from the dead. One of the first things that Jesus did was that he visited his disciples, and can you imagine how the disciples felt? Like, they just lost their mentor. They thought he was gone for good. And then Jesus would show up and be like, sorry, just kidding, I'm back. But when Jesus came back, he didn't just dip again. He stayed for a little bit and mentored his disciples until they were ready. When you're a leader and you're trying to train new leaders, you want to make sure that they're good before you let them go on their own. It's just like what Jesus did too with his disciples, because like they were with him for years during his ministries, and then they lost him. Imagine losing someone who you looked up to. It must have been really sad for them. And then when he came back, they didn't know how to react. So Jesus gave them some time to adjust to this new reality that he's back. And then he mentored them before he went away again. And this time he made sure that they're ready before he leaves for good, before he comes back again. He wanted to make sure that his disciples are ready to spread his kingdom when Jesus leaves. And that's what he did. So you know how in Star Wars, how they have the Jedi Knight training, and as you're a trainee, you're called a Padawan, and if you shadow someone who is a Jedi Master, and the Jedi Master will make sure that you're ready to go before you become a Jedi Knight. And that's basically what Jesus did. Jesus was their Jedi Master, training those young disciples, those young Padawans to become Jedi Knights, and make sure that the disciples are ready to become apostles and spread the good news to others. So Jesus stayed with them for 40 days. And the number 40 is a significant number in the Bible, because remember, Jesus stayed at the desert for 40 days and 40 nights after he got baptized. And here, he stayed for 40 days before he left and ascended to heaven. And in the Bible, 40 just means a big number that they don't really quite know what the exact number is. So they use the word 40 because that means a lot. So when Jesus came back, his disciples didn't believe that he was really there, because they just witnessed their master dying and they buried him. So of course they were in disbelief when they saw him. They thought he was like a ghost or something. So as proof, Jesus showed them their scars to show that he was alive and that it was really him, that he actually came back from the dead. And you know, sometimes as humans, we like to see things to believe. That's when, after Jesus showed them his scars, Jesus used the phrase faith without sight, because we don't have Jesus physically present here like he was in his time. That's why it's really hard to be a Christian nowadays, because we can't show other people what we believe because Jesus is not fully present with us physically. And just, it's not like in the old days when his disciples were like, look, here's my master, and then they brought Jesus to them to show them proof. We don't have physical proof with us today, so that makes it hard for some of us to believe. Now I'm going to pass it over to Sam, who will be going more in depth about what Jesus did during these 40 days with his disciples.